Welcome everybody to Interfaith Prayer and Discussion meeting number 101. And later on we'll have a proper introduction to our speaker, Dr. Hamida Banu. But for now, I'd like to hand over to Tracy and ask everyone to mute yourselves, please, unless you're speaking.
Thank you, Colin. So before we go through the rest of the meeting, we like to honour the First Nations people of this land. I live on the land of the Worimi people, and it has the memory of the ceremonies and the deep relationship that the people had with the land and each other over tens of thousands of years, listening, learning, and having a deep respect that it was their mother. And so wherever we are living within Australia now, we live on land that for tens of thousands of years, it has been in a relationship with human beings, and a mutually beneficial relationship, that the First Nations people were aware that they were dependent on the land, the sky, the water, and all the other living creatures and trees and plants for their life. And therefore they were grateful, and therefore they became aware of the laws and of how to live in harmony with nature, and made a tremendous effort to be able to pass that on through countless generations, to have that type of respect and rapport. So we really honour them for their ongoing connection of culture and land, and for all that they have been able to achieve in relationship to the various lands in this continent. So thank you.
Create in me a pure heart, oh my God, oh my God, and renew a tranquil conscience within me, oh my hope, through the Spirit of power, confirm thou me in thy cause, oh my best beloved, confirm thou me in thy cause, and by the light of thy glory reveal unto me thy path. By the light of thy glory reveal unto me thy path. O thou, the goal of my desire, and eternity. Gladden me, O thou who art my God. Let thine everlasting melodies breathe tranquility on me, O my companion. Let the riches of thine ancient countenance deliver me from all except thee, O my Master, O my Master. And let the tidings of the revelation of thine incorruptible essence bring me joy. O thou who art the most manifest of the manifest, and the most hidden of the hidden, the most manifest of the manifest, and the most hidden of the 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 hidden.
Intone, O my servant, the verses of God that have been received by thee, as intoned by them who have drawn nigh unto him, that the sweetness of thy melody may kindle thine own soul and attract the hearts of all men. Whoso reciteth in the privacy of his chamber the verses revealed by God, the scattering angels of the Almighty shall scatter abroad the fragrance of the words uttered by his mouth, and shall cause the heart of every righteous man to throb. Though he may at first remain unaware of its effect, yet the virtue of the grace vouchsafed unto him must needs sooner or later exercise its influence upon his soul. Thus have the mysteries of the revelation of God been decreed by virtue of the will of him who is the source of power and wisdom. By Scripture.
There is a polish for everything that becomes rusty, and the polish for the heart is the remembrance of God. The regular act of prayer is a sacred obligation upon believers in its prescribed times. When you have completed the prayer rite, keep God in constant recollection. Remember your Lord in your soul with humility and reverence, morning and evening.
May these words of my mouth and this meditation of my heart be pleasing in your sight, Lord, my rock and my redeemer. My mouth will speak words of wisdom. The meditation of my heart will give you understanding. May my meditation be pleasing to him as I rejoice in the Lord. And we all who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory are being transformed into his image with ever-increasing glory, which comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit. Christian scripture.
Reflect, O people, on the grace and blessings of your Lord, and hear him thanks at eventide and dawn. We have commanded you to pray and fast from the beginning of maturity. This is ordained by God, your Lord, and the Lord of your forefathers. Bahá'u'lláh, Kitab-i Aqdas, paragraph 33:10. Let not thy tongue pay lip service in praise of God, while thy heart be not attuned to the exalted summit of glory and the focal points of communion. The most acceptable prayer is one offered with the utmost spirituality and radiance. The prolongation has not been and is not beloved of God. The Bach, selections from the writing of the Bach, paragraph 94:77.
The wisdom of prayer is this, that it causes a connection between the servant and the true one, because in that state, man with all heart and soul turneth his face towards his highness, the Almighty, seeking his association and desiring his love and compassion. The greatest happiness for a lover is to converse with his beloved, and the greatest gift for a seeker is to become familiar with the object of his longing. That is why, with every soul who is attracted to the kingdom of God, his greatest hope is to find an opportunity to entreat and supplicate before his beloved, appeal for his mercy and grace, and be immersed in the ocean of his utterance, goodness, and generosity. Beside all this, prayer and fasting is the cause of awakening mindfulness and conducive to protection and perseverance from test. The obligatory prayer is revealed from the supreme pen. Tablets of Abdul Baha, pages 683 to 684.
O thou who art turning thy face towards God, close thine eyes to all things else and open them to the realm of the All-Glorious. Ask whatsoever thou wishest of him alone. Seek whatsoever thou seekest from him alone. With a look, he granteth 100,000 hopes. With a glance, he healeth 100,000 incurable ills. With a nod, he layeth balm on every wound. With a glimpse, he freeth the hearts from the shackles of grief. He doeth as he doeth, and what recourse have we? He carrieth out his will. He ordaineth what he pleaseth. Then better for thee to bow down thy head in submission and put thy trust in the all-merciful Lord. Selections from the writings of Abdul Baha, page 51.
O Son of Spirit, ask not of me that which we desire not for thee. Then be content with what we have ordained for thy sake. For this is that which profited thee. If therewith thou dost content thyself, O the servant is drawn unto me through prayers until I answer him. When I have answered his prayer. I become the ear with which he heareth. O man of two visions, close one eye and open the other. Close one to the world and all that is therein, and open the other to the hallowed beauty of the beloved. O son of earth, wouldst thou have me seek none other than me? Wouldst thou gaze upon my beauty? Close thine eye to the world and all that is therein. For my will and the will of another than me, even as fire and water cannot dwell together in one heart. Baha'u'llah, Arabic Hidden Words. Where you are muted.
Okay. Thou hast asked me concerning the nature of the soul. Know verily that the soul is a sign of God, a heavenly gem whose reality the most learned of men hath failed to grasp, and whose mystery no mind, however acute, can ever hope to unravel. It is the first among all created things to declare the excellence of its creator, the first to recognize his glory, to cleave to his truth, and to bow down in adoration before him. If it be faithful to God, it will reflect his light and will eventually return unto him. If it fail, however, in its allegiance to its creator, it will become a victim to self and passion, and will in the end sink in the depths. Baha'i scriptures.
இத பண்ணாமா?
கேக்குதா?
Yeah, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Can you? Shall I read it again?
Yes, please.
Wert thou to ponder in thine heart from now until the end, that hath no end, and with all the concentrated intelligence and understanding, which the greatest minds have attained in the past, will attain in the future. This divinely ordained and subtle reality, this sign of revelation of the all-abiding, all-glorious God, thou will fail to comprehend its mystery or to appraise its virtue. Having recognized thy powerlessness to attain to an adequate understanding of that reality which abideth within thee, thou wilt readily admit the futility of such efforts as may be attempted by thee or by any of the created things to fathom the mystery of the living God, the day star of unfading glory, the ancient of everlasting days. This confession of helplessness, which mature contemplation must eventually impel every mind to make, is in itself the acme of human understanding and marketh the culmination of man's development. Baha'u'llah, Baha'i scriptures. Thank you.
Shall I read?
The summons of thy kingdom, and have gazed upon the glory of the Son of just the one, the ever loving.
That's, I think,
Yes, sir.
Then our friend Tenmoli will introduce the speaker
Thank you.
because he is the one who has introduced her to us.
Of course, sir.
Tenmoli Amma.
Okay, sir. Hello, everybody. First, I want to introduce myself. I'm Tenmoli from India. Now I would like to introduce my friend, Dr. Hamida Banu, to you. Dr. S. Hamida Banu, she has a total of 33 years experience in teaching. She has been the principal of an arts and science college for 18 years and also B.Ed principal for 10 years. She has presented papers in 10 international, 20 national and 7 state level conferences. She has also organized 4 international, 10 national and 7 state level seminars. Mrs. Hamida has won numerous awards, including Best Motivator Award, Best Paper Presenter Award, and Best Principal Award. She has also participated in oratorical and essay competition during her college days. Her education background: she has done her UG from SRC Trichy, PG from Madras University, MPhil from Periyar University, and PhD Gandhigram University, Dindigul. She has published multiple articles in reputable journals. She is an NLP trainer and gives soft skills trainings in schools and colleges. She is a renowned poetess who has contributed a lot in this field. Even she released 2 books recently. With her hard work, she has presented to the society thousands of meritorious and skillful students. We would like to thank Siva Peri and friends for the session on Interfaith Prayer, Prayer and Meditation. Thank you, Mrs. Hamida Banu and Mrs. Subaida, for this wonderful session.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do I come in? So
Yes.
we now invite Dr. Hamida Banu,
Yes,
who will present the light of Abdul Qadir Jilani. Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani is a Sunni Muslim preacher and of the 11th century.
Yes.
So can I invite Dr. Hamida Banu to?
Yes.
Yes, madam. Is the slideshow ready, ma'am? Can you share?
Oh, I can share it. Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. First slide, sir.
Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good afternoon to one and all present here in this forum. At the outset, I congratulate the organizers for conducting this type of interfaith prayer and discussion meeting on every Thursday to foster devotional character of society, to bring understanding among friends about the unifying nature of religious and their common foundation, to spread peace among people at global level. At present, we are living in a cutthroat competitive age. In this present scenario, we need peace and comfort along with happiness ultimately. In such a situation, negative attitudes like jealousy, anger, vengeance, revenge, laziness, cowardice, and covetousness are prevailing all along the world. To cope up with this scenario, we must listen, read, and learn about spiritual leaders who brought about renaissance when and wherever when it is needed at the time of emergency. One such spiritual leader is Gaudul Alam, Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani. To start with, I want to quote the words of Oliver Lodge in his book. Next slide, sir. Next slide. Next slide. I want to quote the words of Oliver Lodge in his book, The Truth of Spiritual Leader. The spiritual world is true. There exists a hierarchy of cadres. After death, human soul still lives. I really came to a conclusion that it is possible to be connected with that spiritual world, which is scientifically proved. Till now, many scholars and alims are able to connect with their gurus and mentors at any time, anywhere. But for achieving this, they must learn and master the teachings of their gurus and apply them in their daily life. Then only they can become their true disciples. After attaining certain stage, they can acquire the power of doing karamat, that is wonders. After that, they'll be able to answer the questions regarding religion and can clarify their doubts and thereby solve their problems. Now let us see the meaning of Gaudul Alam, Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani. Previous slide, sir. Previous slide. Mahbub Subhani, a man of purity who is loved by all. Gaudul Alam, helping others abundantly. Abdul Qadir Jilani, nomenclature of their parents, his parents. When he is born at a place called Jilan in Iran. Next slide, sir. Gaudul Alam Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani wrote 3 books and many poems, and also we are having many collections of his religious lectures. Number 1, Futuhul Haib, 78 speeches of spiritualism. Kunyatut Talibin, explanation about Sharia and Tariqa, and the explanation about Quranic verses. Fathur Rabbani, an anthology or a collection of 68 bayans, that is religious sermons of Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani. Next slide, sir. Now let us see, in Tamil it is called Ondre Kulam Oruvanai Devan, one race and one Lord. Now, first let us see about the scenario at that time when Muhyiddin was born. Muhammad Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam insisted the existence of only one race and only one Lord. Ondre Kulam Oruvanai Devan. The spread of Islam is tremendous in his time, and his Sahabi friends, and in the time of Calibas, and after many generations together. After that, due to political reasons, Muslims are divided into many groups, and there started war and dispute. According to Islamic law, it is only Allah who rules the earth and heaven, as he is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. Next slide, sir. Omnipotent, all powerful, omnipresent, present everywhere, omniscient, all knowing. The next slide. The basic principles of Islam constitute unanimity, equality, fraternity. Fraternity, brotherhood, equality, every individual is equal to certain degree. To the same degree. Fraternity, brotherhood, unanimity, complete agreement about something among a group of people. But these principles were not followed practically in the years to come. There started categorization in Islam, and many disputes started against Muslims because of the invasion of Karamidis, people those who do wonders, and Mutasilakal, people of different opinion. At that time, spiritual leaders were born in this world and reconstructed the pillars of Islam and also brought about the Reformation. These disciples of God will be a role model to the world, and also the people who see their life practically will follow them wholeheartedly. One day, Sheikh Abdul Qadir Abu Bakr Harar Rahmatullah alayhi salam told his disciples that he is going to announce a good news to them. A child is going to be born in the Jilan of Iran, and he is spiritually at a higher caliber. He also added that he is going to show many wonders, that is Karamat. He was born at the end of 15th century of Hijrah and 11th century of Christian era. During 15th century of Hijrah, a child was born in Jilan city of Iran as the spiritual son of Allah. God created the child as the lightning in the dark night and as an oasis amidst a deserted area. At a very young age, he lost his father. His mother alone took care of him and taught him the basic principles of life. His mother's name is Fatima and his father's name is Dost. They are the descendants of Hassan and Hussein, who are the grandchildren of Muhammad Nabi. Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani learned Arabic literature, hadith of Muhammad Nabi, detailed explanation of Quran, and religious laws, which are otherwise known as fiqh, that is religious judgments. Both of his parents are pious to the core with taqwa, that is God-fearing, along with refined habits, and are very learned people. Each child is born with innocence. After that only, it transforms according to the brought-up of its mom. His mother's advices always never lie at any circumstance. Pray to God every day. Eat only halal food. Next slide, sir. Incident with robbers. Dravidian leader Periyar says, a mother is better than 1,000 teachers. Muhyiddin's mother Fatima realized this fact in depth and brought up her child in a religious way. She sowed Iman, that is religious faith, in the heart of her child, Muhyiddin. Moreover, she nurtured the Islamic principles in depth in a child's heart, while she herself delved deep in Islam. She developed a spiritual feeling deep in her child, so that he was groomed by her in both knowledge and power based on Islamic principles. At the age of 18, he came to his mother and told that he has completed learning in Jilan and now he wanted to go to Baghdad for higher studies. He requested his mom to give him the permission. Despite of the fact that his mom is aged, she magnanimously permitted him to go to Baghdad for his higher studies. So he started his journey in a deserted area in search of finding the mercy of Allah. When he started his journey to Baghdad, his mom told that he should never lie at any circumstance and to pray without fail every day and to eat halal food always. Then she gave him 40 gold coins and stitched it inside the pocket of his shirt. When he was traveling in the desert, dacoits came and looted everything from the crew. When the leader of dacoits asked Muhyiddin what was in his possession, he told him that he has 40 gold coins in his shirt pocket, which is stitched secretly and safely by his mom. When the leader asked why he disclosed such a valuable secret, immediately Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani replied that he gave promise to his mom that he will never lie under any circumstance. On hearing these words, the leader of Descartes started shedding tears and regretted that he was performing sin every day by looting against his parents, teachers, and the Lord who created him. Then he asked Muhyiddin if there was any means of reconciliation with God. Muhyiddin answered that if he repents sincerely for what he has done so far, definitely Allah, the most benevolent and the merciful, will forgive him definitely. Then he told his crew members that he didn't want to be their leader thereafter, as he is going to follow the path of righteousness. His crewmen also told that they'll also follow his way. After that, all 100 fellows surrendered the looted properties to Muhyiddin and chose to follow the path of right direction. Next. In Baghdad, he started learning all religious rules, that is fiqh.
You are muted.
Yes, yes, yes. And the 40 gold coins were spent one by one slowly. Muhyiddin needed to work for satisfying his basic needs. He will eat only simple fruits, vegetables, and tubers available in the forest and satisfied his hunger. When all the money was spent, he heard a voice that he should borrow money from for his expenditure. But he refused it by saying that he was poor and he was a stranger in Baghdad. He is so doubtful that nobody will lend him money. Even if they lend, being poor, he has no hope of returning it back. But the voice told that even if he borrows money, he can have the hope of returning the same. Next slide. Next slide. So he asked the bakery owner to lend 1.5 rotis every day and requested him that he will return back the money as soon as he gets the same. One day, he went to a deserted area and he happened to see a gold coin and he was so hesitant to pick it up. The voice ordered him to take the same. So he took the coin and gave it to the bakery owner. He always recite, فَإِنَّ مَوَ الْأُسْرِ أُسْرًا إِنَّ مَوَ الْأُسْرِ أُسْرًا, meaning there will be pleasure after painful situation. That is, I can at this juncture I want to quote the words of Shelley, English poet Shelley, in his poem "Woe to the West Wind." If there is winter, can spring be far behind? And also the words of Tagore, "Oh God, lightly give me the strength, lightly to bear my joys and sorrows." Even when he was penniless, he was waiting patiently and was confident and never lost his hope. At the same time, he never gave importance to his bodily needs. One day, he was penniless. An young man from Geelong brought some money from his mom. After 7 years of hardship, he attained 25th age as he started his journey in the age of 18 itself from Geelong. Now he started his journey to Mecca. Then he went to the forest and started praying to God sincerely and continuously. During the first year, he ate only fruits and vegetables that were available in the forest. Next, sir. Next. His inner suffering, he is suffering from hunger, thirst, and loneliness. During the first year, he ate only fruits and vegetables that were available in the forest. Second year, he drank only water. And in the third year, he prayed to God severely to show him the right path, even without drinking and eating. Next, sir. Then he started, next, 40 days of prayer, yes. Then he started fasting for continuous 40 days. Shaitan tortured him in all possible ways to deviate him from the right path. At those times, he will recite La hawla wala quwwata illa billahil aliyyul alim, meaning only Allah can bring about the change and make us strong. Nobody else can be able to do this. Muhyiddin became well-versed in Arabic language and Islamic principles by learning fiqh and hadith. He was highly appreciated by both the scholars as well as common men who are illiterates. Once, 100 scholars came to him with 100 complicated questions about fiqh, that is, religious laws, religious judgments. He gave answers and explanation to all questions based on Quran and Hadith. Hafiz Abdul Abbas Ahmed, who is well versed in Quran, came with Allama Ibn Jawzi, who had been to Egypt, Palestine, Syria, Hijaz, and Iraqi, came to him and asked explanation to a verse of Quran. Hereafter, we'll call Abdul Qadir Jilani as Hazrat, learned person, scholar. Hazrat gave 40 explanations for a single sentence of Quran. When he asked the explanation, Jawzi can give 12 to 13 different description. So now Jawzi understood the caliber of Muhyiddin, the Hazrat, whereas Muhyiddin gave 40 explanations spontaneously to Allama Ibn Jawzi. Now Ibn Jawzi realized his deficit of knowledge and accepted the caliber of Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani. Now, next slide, sir. Now I want to quote one single sentence in Tamil. Pasithiru, Vizhithiru, Thanithiru. That is, Pasithiru, Thanithiru, Vizhithiru. Be hungry always, be alone always, be awake always. So that you can get Padavi, the first word of Pasithiru, Thanithiru, Vizhithiru, that you can attain the higher state of eternity. Muhyiddin belongs to Shafi Madhab and taught the students and preached the people. He wrote many fatwas, that is religious judgment. He indulged himself for 40 years of spiritual speech. One day during his sermon, he came from the stage and honored Sheikh Ali Ibn Ali Nasr, who has seen Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in his dream. During these days, he will become hysterical, he will shout, cry, freeze, melt. In short, he forget himself totally during these 40 days of prayer and fasting. Now Salawatul Hijrah. Hazrat Muhyiddin crossed many slabs in his spiritual journey and gained a lot of spiritual experience. When he indulges in his religious sermon, even jinns, that is, creatures without physical bodies, came in crowd to listen to his preaching. When he is crossing a cave in a forest, he happened to see a salawat, and its name is Salawatul Hijrah. His speech will have no grammatical mistakes. They are highly authentic, and it will get into the hearts of people deeply. His sermons will be imprinted in the brain of people forever. Like a fountain, his words will be flowing spontaneously and are easily understandable even by a common man and also by the scholars. Sometimes his religious sermons will be thunder-like, sometimes as gentle as a breeze. During these bayans, there will be no space for his audience. Nearly 70 to 80,000 people attended his lectures. To accommodate all, he will speak in Baghdad Eidgah, which is a vast ground. If people have any doubts, he'll realize them by his intuition and clarify those doubts clearly. Next. Madrasa Mubarakiyah. In Madrasa Mubarakiyah, he taught 14 different subjects, 3 bayan, He gave 3 bayan, that is religious lectures per week for common people. He served 33 years in that Madrasa Mubarakia, and in Madrasa Mubarakia, students are offered free food and accommodation. What student learned from others for 20 years, Hazrat Muhyiddin will teach them clearly within 1 year itself. He incorporated discipline and honesty along with education. Alims, scholars, amirs, ministers, and governors will listen to his sermon. At the same time, 400 writers will record each and every word of Hazrat Muhyiddin. During his sermon, he will explain many life secrets and solve many problems of people. Also, he relieved many people from their mental stress. Next slide, sir. Qadriya Tariqiya, that means followers who followed the path of Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani. They are called as, they have known to be attained Qadriya Tariqa. Now Ulul Amr. Next. Ulul Amr. Before that, he observed fasting. After observing fasting for 40 days in a deserted area called Buzrul Azmi, on the 41st day, a bypasser brought some food, that is nafs, that is desire, tempted him to have the food. He never touched the food. At that time, Abu Sayyid Mukarrami asked him to come to a place called Tuzam. As he is very reluctant to go there, Khidr alayhi salam came and asked him to go there. Then only Muhyiddin, Hazrat Muhyiddin went there. In Baghdad, there is a place called Babul Azra, and in that place, Abu Sayyid Mukarrami established a madrasa named Madrasa Mubarakia. Previous slide, sir. Previous. Yes, Madrasa Mukarramiya. When Muhyiddin reached there, the Sheikh fed him caringly and handed over him his madrasa and covered him with the sacred shawl and blessed him. Later, that kingdom is called Qadriya Tariqa. Next. That kingdom is called Qadriya Tariqa, which means right religious path. Though he is reluctant to stay there, as he wanted to be alone in the forest to indulge him in spiritual means, he accepted the offer according to the order of Muhammad Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in his dream. Nabi also blew his saliva from his mouth to Muhyiddin's mouth. He suffered from hunger, thirst, loneliness for 3 consecutive years in the course of his studies. He'll recite Quran during day and pray throughout the night. As Quran says, you must form a group. Next slide, sir. You must form a group to call people to do good things and prevent them from doing bad deeds. Then only people will taste the fruit of success, as per the Quranic verses. That group is called Ulul Amr. He wanted to join a group called Ulul Amr, in which many scholars are collaborating with each other in that spiritual journey. Then he started learning the basic rules of Sharia, that is Islamic rules, amidst many hurdles. Among the coils and toils of life, he started preaching what he learned about spiritualism among people. His lectures are eloquent and highly descriptive. As iron is attracted by the magnet, people were attracted by his speech as it is so emphatic, authentic, and powerful to the core. Both ordinary people and the scholars were attracted and became ecstatic on hearing his religious sermon. Hazrat Muhyiddin's words were pure. Those who listen to his lectures are also become pure. Alims, scholars, teachers, and fossils are astonished by the flow of his linguistic skills about religion as they came deep from his heart. His lectures were based on only one God, only one race. All people belonging to different religions were benefited by his religious lectures. It is not Next slide, sir. It is not enough that we celebrate those personalities, but we should follow them to the core. Even without missing a single advice, we must apply those principles in our life. Quran says, again I'm saying, innamal usri usran, which means both pain and pleasure follows each other. Now the deviation from original plan. Greek philosophy and scientific literature were translated in Arabic language and they were deeply learned by Muslims. But at the same time, people started the Western culture and modernity. Instead of taking the best out of it, they were deviated from the original path. Next slide, sir. At this juncture, giving a renaissance to Islam, as a reformatory leader, Muhyiddin was born in the city of Gilan, and as I have told you, and completed the duties what is expected of him by Islamic world. Due to his religious lectures, many withered, that is deviation from right path, were banished from Muslims. They resurrected themselves and started walking in the right path. Light came in the place of darkness, truth came in the place of non-righteous path. As Muhyiddin's preaching instilled the prestige of being a Muslim among all the people, he purified the fountain of Islam from all the impurities which were mixed from various groups. He regularized the curriculum. Next slide, sir. He regularized the curriculum of Islamic foundation education. He made Muslims to follow Sharia, that is righteous path, passionately. He also tried to make the people to see the aesthetic sense and scenes of Islam through their inner eyes. Now he regulated the curriculum. I told you, no, these are the units of that curriculum. What is Islam? What is God or Allah? What is Prophet Muhammad? Who is Prophet Muhammad? Who is a Muslim? What is freedom of expression? Why do we love the environment? What is pluralism, equality? How does using our brains help us to become better Muslims? How can we make a difference in the world? Next slide, sir. Personification of deen. Previous slide, I think. Previous slide, sir. Personification of deen. Yes. One day, when Muhyiddin is walking on the road, he happened to see a man who is unable to walk even. He requested the Muhyiddin, Hazrat Muhyiddin, to come near him. He also added that he is so weak that he lost his physical strength and inner power. He begged Muhyiddin to lift him up. Hazrat Muhyiddin took pity on him and looked at him mercifully. Then he recited a few Islamic verses and blew them on that person's face. Instantly, he is transformed into a strong man. This miraculous change brought up a change in him, and his face glowed immediately. Then the weak man, the strong man who became strong now, he told that he is not human at all, but he is the personification of deen, that is righteous path, which is brought by Muhammad Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and his Sahabis. In spite of the fact, Nabi and his followers spread Islam with so much difficulties and make it strong all over the world. But after some time, it became weak and the people started forgetting the righteous path. But Hazrat Muhyiddin, he gave the soul and heart to it and made it strong again. That is why Abdul Qadir Jilani got the title Muhyiddin, which meant giving soul to deen, which is the right path of Islam. Next. Sharia. The Sharia means, see, there are so many hierarchies in following Sharia. Number 1, Sharia. Number 2, Tariqa. Number 3, Haqiqat and Hidayat. And finally, Maghrifat. I'll tell you the meaning of this hierarchy, that is slabs in attaining self-realization, like Sharia, Tariqa, Haqiqa, Hidayat, and Marifa. Sharia means Islamic way of life. Tariqat means religious path. Haqiqat means reality. Hidayat means right path. Magrifat means ultimate realization of God, Allah, and Islam, and getting deep knowledge about the God who created this world and human beings. Next. Next slide, sir. Now let us see the traits of a spiritual leader. Obedient, he will be obedient to Sharia, attaining Maghriba, deep knowledge about God, leave everything to Allah, discriminate between lie and truth. He will do extra prayer and dhikr always. He will attain the status of destroying the self. Then he will repent always. He gives charity to all. He spends everything in religious path, and he will become spiritually rich. Next. Now let us see how to control the mind. These are all the preachings of Muhyiddin. Self-realization, control your desires, be patient, avoid unnecessary talks, trust, and ask Allah alone. Don't have worldly desires. Keep your inner self clean. Don't be proud. Be contented. Avoid haram, that is bad deeds, and consuming bad foods, that is food that has been earned by bad deeds. Then self-preaching. Next. Now let us see the karamat, that is the wonders which has been performed by Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani during his lifetime. Next. First and foremost, there are so many wonders, that is karamats, being performed by Hazrat Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani. To list out a few, I have selected some 7 to 8 wonders, that is karamats. Number 1, foreseeing the destruction of Musafir Khana. Once many disciples came to see the Hazrat, and they waited in a place called Musafir Khana, in which bypassers will stay always. When Hazrat came to that place, he shouted and asked his disciples to come out immediately outside the building. As soon as they came out, the building collapsed. That is the power of Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani. Next. Meeting Ahmad bin Hanbali in his grave. Once Hazrat went to Ahmad bin Hanbali's grave and offered Fatiha, that is prayers, in his grave. The grave opened and the Imam came out of it. He hugged Hazrat and prayed for him, and he vanished immediately. So this is one more karamat. Number 3, next slide. Anecdote about Abu Bakr Tamimi. Abu Bakr Tamimi from Baghdad went to Mecca for performing Hajj. During the journey, a man from Jilan joined with him. On the way, he became ill, and he asked him to give his possession, which contained 10 gold coins, few clothes, and a blanket. He also asked him to tell Hazrat Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani to pray for his repentance and do dua for him. But Abu Bakr Tamimi didn't give those things to Hazrat, thinking nobody will know the truth. After a few days, when he happened to meet the Hazrat, Abdul Qadir Jilani told that he forget the fear of God after all for 10 gold coins and and a few clothes. On hearing this, Abu Bakr Tamimi fainted. Hazrat left from that place. After some time, when he gained consciousness, he ran to his house and brought back the money and his possession and returned it to Hazrat. He asked for repentance and became the thick friend of Hazrat and attained spiritually at a higher plane. According to Allama Iqbal, the sight of a saint will rewrite the fate even. Next. Now prayer on Tigris River. Once Hazrat was absconded from Baghdad. All friends, relatives, and his disciples are very much worried about the same. At that time, one man came and told that Hazrat is walking on Tigris River. The people who are on the riverside saw this wonder by their own eyes. After some time, a musalla, that is a specific blanket specifically used for prayer, that came out of water and had been spread over the water level. Many scholars, dignified scholars, came with spiritual dignity and they prayed along with Hazrat on water as Hazrat as the Imam. That scene, which is highly emotional, along with taqwa and love of God, was inexplicable indeed. Only those who felt can understand the same thing. Next. Dried tree becomes green. Once when one of his Sufi friend fell sick, Hazrat went to see him in a garden. There were 2 date trees which became very much dry and they bear no fruits. When Hazrat performed wuzu, that is oblation, and prayed under the trees became fertile along with date fruits. Next. Cooked hen became alive. He gave soul to a hen which was eaten by him. When he kept his hand on the bones of that chicken, it becomes alive. Like this, when he happened to see a small boy who is blind and lame and affected by leprosy, he made him healthy as a normal boy, which is another karamat. Next. Old camel becomes young. Sheikh Habs Umar Rahmatullah came to Hazrat and told him that he wanted to go to Mecca and Medina. But he also added, he felt sorry that his camel is so old and weak and it cannot travel to such a long distance. That is why he was unable to perform the pilgrimage to Mecca. When Hazrat kept his hand on the forehead of the camel and kicked on its leg, the camel becomes strong and healthy and is completely transformed to a young animal. Next. Lost camel found again. Once a merchant named Bashir went for trade, during which he happened to stay in a deserted area surrounded by forest. When he started his journey the next morning, 4 camels were lost amidst his 14 camels. When the merchant thought of Hazrat, he saw a person on a hill and that person signaled him to look at the back side of the hill. When Bashir went there, those 4 camels were found out at the back of the hill, and that person who is standing at the hill is none other than Hazrat Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani. Next. The last karamat which I have enlisted. Tiger surrendered to Hazrat. Once 3 alims came to see Hazrat and prayed along with him. They blamed him that his way of reciting Quranic verses was not perfect. When Hazrat went for bath, when these 3 alims went for bath, a tiger came and shouted, and these alims, they were shouting us with fear. But when Hazrat Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani came there, the tiger went and laid calmly at his feet. Then the alims were astonished at the sight and asked pardon to Hazrat, and Hazrat told that he had cleaned his heart neatly, while these alims are trying to clean their tongue. Like this, he has made so many wonders which can be felt or understood only by religious people. His religious lectures were based on self-realization, fearing of God, following Nabi, connection with God, thanking Him wholeheartedly, trying to be intimate with heart, purity in word and action, purity in heart, relationship between heart and soul, respect life, avoid telling lies and backbiting, practice the acquired knowledge, Islamic fraternity, and never be idle. And he also gave lectures on contrast between miserliness and definition of scholars, how to make the poor happy, who is a saint, practice Quran, expectation of death always, at any time, demerits of being lazy, scholar and taqwa, God-fearing and piety. He also talked about the descendants of the messenger, Muhammad Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, how to control your soul. Ismul Alam, that is a enriched names of Allah. That is, it will be called as Asmaul Husna. We can select as per our wish. Love of Allah, specific features of saints, oneness of God, contrast between a follower and a mountain. Ask everything from God. Now, next. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Every soul will taste death definitely. Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani also died at his 91st age. Now, he lived 90 years in this world and he took Islam to a higher plane through his spiritual day learning, led many people into righteous path. During his 91st age, he fell sick for 2 months and gave his son the last advice. Be fearful to Allah, Almighty always. Ask everything you want only to Him. He left this world by reciting the kalima, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Meaning, really we came from Allah. It is to Him we return finally. Thank you.
My video is stopped.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Beda, yes.
Hello, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me? I can see my video is stopped.
We can hear you, ma'am.
I can hear you guys, but I can't see you. But anyway, that's all right. Thank you very much, Sister Hamida Bano, for such a insightful presentation of Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani. And
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can hear me now. Yeah, but
yes, ma'am. Yes,
my video is still not.
We can
Yeah.
see.
Okay. So well, we need to apologize for some of the interruptions that we had that had been caused during your presentation. So, Siva, you can address that information, in future presentations.
Yes.
There were some interruptions in the presentation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So anyway, you've done a very good job, Sister Hamida Bano. A very intensive and very thorough presentation of the preachings of Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani. And now we invite people to invite our audience to ask questions. Does anyone have a question to ask the presenter?
Okay. Ahmad and then Jung have raised hands. Please raise your hands if you want to comment or ask question.
Thank you, Dr. Sharafuddin, for your presentation. I'd like to say a story for you, and I want your response. Yesterday morning, I was trying to go to work, and a tree stood up with his roots out and followed me. And the tree was following. And I said to the tree, why are you following me? You're supposed to be in the ground. And you are now disturbing the whole concept. And he said that I see you, that you are following Allah. And as a result, I like to follow you. I'd like to know your response to this, because I think miracles is only valid for the person that is either acting it or is valid for the person that is observing it. And it's kind of less impact for others that haven't seen it. So I'm wondering, what's your feeling about my story?
Yes, sir. What is your question?
My question is, I explained a story, and I'd like to find your response. My story was that yesterday I was going to walk, following the path in the street, and a tree arose from, picked up his roots and followed me. And I asked the tree, why are you following? And the tree told me that I'm following you because you
Yes.
follow Allah.
Mm.
And I was happy, but I told the tree that you're supposed to be in the ground, not following people. And you can serve Allah that way. Well, I'd like to know your response to that story.
Sir, can anybody tell us question? I can't just get it.
I think Ahmad, I think his question is, or his comment is that miracles or wonders are important for the people who are performing or
Yes.
who are receiving or who are observing it. For
Yes.
others, it is not important.
Well, it's meaningless, really, because they haven't observed it, they haven't seen it. And maybe those concepts have spiritual meanings rather than being physical. You know, we hear that Christ has miraculously saved leprosy or walked on the sea.
Yes.
And you're describing a lot of these miracles for Jilani, and which is kind of reduces the impact of his spiritual powers in words, in deeds, rather than these acts of miracles. So I'd like to know what's your response to my story. A tree was following me yesterday,
I think,
and the tree was uprooted its roots, and he followed me and said that I follow you because you follow Allah.
Yes. I got your question. Now, can I answer now?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. See, you are asking me that he has performed many wonders, that is karamats, isn't it? By the power of Allah. How is it possible? And you want the explanation of those wonders, right?
Well, I want to know whether you physically believe
how
in those,
the wonders are performed.
whether
how
you
he is able to perform these wonders. That is the question.
No, that whether that you believe them physically that happened, or whether they have a spiritual meanings rather than these sayings go mouth to mouth from 11th century to now.
Yes, I got it. That is even we can quote the two wonders, that dried tree becomes green, and then when he's standing on a hill, or when they are searching for the camel, isn't it? Then I told you one person with a white dress that who is standing on the hill, and he just signaling the fellows to go behind the hill. Then you are asking whether it is to be connected with physically or even spiritually, right?
Yeah, I think those stories have a spiritual meanings rather than actually physically happening. Because
yes.
Miracles
Even
to me,
after his the very first quotation I have given in my presentation. No, I will repeat it. So you can get the answer in that quotation itself. That is Oliver Lodge in his book, The Truth of Spiritual Leader. The spiritual world is true. There exists a hierarchy of cadres. After death, human soul still lives. I really came to a conclusion, that is Oliver Lodge really came to a conclusion that it is possible to be connected with the spiritual world, which is scientifically proven fact, right? So when we think of even now, if you are the real disciple and if you are really following the preachings of Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani, we can be connected with him and we can have those wonders performed by him even now. How we can attain that stage, there are, and I have told you, there are many hierarchy, that is Shariat, Tariqat, Haqiqat, then only we can go for Magrifat. That is, we can stage by stage we can attain the self-realization and then self-actualization by doing so many days of fasting, sacrifices, and really understanding the faith of Allah to the depth in knowledge. Then only we can attain that stage. Once after attaining that stage, after becoming the disciple of Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani, all such walimas and mentors or real religious leaders, we can be connected, we can get connected with them, and they will help us to do the wonders. They will help us to connect with them, and they will show the path how to get rid of the problems, how to overcome the hurdles. This is my answer, sir.
Yeah, well, I believe those concepts of spirituality that you stage them and the operation words for different levels of spirituality are the true concepts. And I think we should stress those rather than a chicken becoming alive or a kid becoming young, because I think those things which we call miracles are really concepts that not observable by masses. So it's important to just talk about those spiritual concepts.
No, I told you during one of his karamat, that is wonders, an alim came from his grave and hugged Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani, isn't it? That can be felt only by Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani. Other people cannot see him, right? Because he has attained that height of religious faith.
Yeah, but
that can be felt and understood by the people, those who have attained that much high level. Not by the common people. Even common people can strive hard to get that caliber and stage by their fasting and prayer and the sacrifices.
I think, Ahmed, the whole presentation, there was a lot of things about Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani's life and his prayers and fasting and attaining and changing and transforming the society and the hearts. Right. I mean, that is the most important part of the presentation.
Yeah,
I like that. He mentions some of the things that he did. Now, we don't want to dwell on those things. If one doesn't want to believe it, it's okay. But what we have to understand, time to time, apart from the messengers of God or the manifestations of God, there are others like the imams or other saints who has come to revive, to renew the spirituality of people in their own sphere of influence. And I think Muhyiddin Jilani was one of them, and that actually revived the Islam at that time. So I think we don't want to dwell on that wonders. we may go to the next questions.
Yeah.
Any more questions, sir?
Can you see, you are muted, Subeda.
What's that?
Subeda, you are muted.
Yeah, okay, I've unmuted myself, but the video is not coming on. I can't see anyone who's going to ask question.
Okay, now
I think Jung is here.
Jung, okay, Jung.
Thank you, Perry.
Sorry, are you using a mobile? If you're using a mobile, you have to pass the screen. Okay, so if you're using a mobile, there is buttons there, and you have to shake your finger to it so that you can pass into different windows.
That is 5.
Swipe it, yeah. Sorry.
Thank you for your lecture tonight, Dr. Amida. Your lecture gave me some ideas about resemblance between religions, just like Buddha and Islam talk about mercy. The French people talk about fraternity and brotherhood. Jesus had 40 days prayer in the desert. That's similar to one of your statements. And in one of your statements, you said, do not have worldly desire, one of the writing, and how to control the mind. But you see, the reality of nowadays, people want more and more and more. They want pay rise 3%, and the government gives them 3%, and they want 6%. And then they keep going riots. So therefore, if you give them 6% or 7%, later on, 6 months later, they want more and more.
Yes.
They said, my land, your land, my car, your house, and all these things, division. So how are we going to control that sort of thing? The other thing that you should, I don't know if you have already done that, but have you visited Fatima in France, the Lord, where Virgin Mary appeared? Because some of your pictures are really beautiful and remind me of the 3 kings who come to visit Jesus when he was born as a baby. So therefore, I just say, I wonder if you have been in Lord Fatima to visit the place where Virgin Mary appeared, apparitions. And the other one, the one that I want to mention about, that equal opportunity between men and women. It's okay if women cannot achieve equal opportunity in their own land. It's very difficult for them when they come overseas and try to go for an interview for a job, because research finding that people on an interviewing panel will notice more about women accent, but not much about men accent. Just like we have linguistic study here, we have English people speaking, English that born, native born, Australian native born, American native born, and then foreigners like us speaking English at their land. So therefore, linguistically, we cannot produce the same accent because we were not native born. But on an interviewing panel, the interviewing people will notice about the accent of the women more than men. So there is something there, you see. There's something there, and the men were more likely to get a job, the same job that the women apply for. Because I was sitting on an interviewing panel myself, as an independent judge.
Yes.
And then we got to be fair. You see, we have to assess people on different, different qualities and features and behavior and everything. So that is another thing that, this might not bring benefits to the women when they try to apply for a job through interviewing panel. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So that was a comment, not a question, right?
And the other question, yes, please. The animal, after they die, will their soul still alive?
What?
The question is,
Because I can't understand the question.
when the animals die, will their soul still live?
After animals die, if their soul can be revived, that's what you are asking.
Well, the soul will be living.
If they have a heart attack.
No. Only human, the soul of human being, because they are having 5 to 5 sense only. Where the human who is having the 6th sense, he knows how to think, how to learn like that, isn't it? Only the souls of those high caliber, they can be revived. But animals are coming under cadre below the human.
So their soul don't live more.
I mean, if they have heart attack, so physically the body collapse, but their soul supposed to be there, shouldn't it? I mean, still have to be there optimistically.
Jung in Islam is the same as Baha'i faith, that the animals do not have a soul that progresses to the next world. It's only humans that go to the next world. Their souls are in a lower state and perish.
Okay. I think next one is Zoe.
Yes, just thank Dr. Hamide Banu and Zobeide Banu for the talk. And my question is, I was a bit late. I didn't get the whole story of the importance of Muhyiddin Gilani.
Abdul Qadir Jilani.
And I just want to know, in one of the slides, you said that the connection to the next world, the world beyond, is realized and scientifically is proven. I just wanted you to explain a bit how your reasoning, if you could explain. Thank you.
Yes, of course. See, we are, according to Islamic principles, Muhammad Nabi is the last Nabi, isn't it? And he is the best of all Nabis. 333 Nabis there have been who are in the world, earth. Similarly, Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani also, he crossed many barriers, many calibers, and he is the best among the awliyas and valis. That is alims. Alim means a person who learned all religious rules and all religious, and they can give fatwa, that is religious judgment, right? Okay, so persons of this higher cadre, they can attain divinity to the maximum level, ultimate level, and they can. I'll tell you one thing. When I went to Mecca, I went to Medina also, right? In Medina, the grave of Muhammad Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is there. Okay, he is also dead after, because every soul in this world will taste the fruit of death, right? So when we go and give salam, that is greetings to his grave, it is said that he will answer the greetings. That is, when we say assalamu alaikum, he will say alaikum salam, like that. That is that meaning, we are peace and comfort will be on you. So similarly, he will repeat the same on us. See, like that only, the people, those who attained that higher religious hierarchy, they are dead only, but they can be connected from the spiritual world to the earth, to the ordinary world. And after performing karamas and wonders, they will return back again to the spiritual world. They cannot reside in this world, right? If when time and when it is needed, only at the time of emergency, they will come and connect with us. Again, they will return to the spiritual world. This is what I understood, as far as my knowledge is concerned.
You mean physically they come back, or is that spiritually they come back? I mean, their spirit.
Spiritually only that they can come in physical form.
Yeah.
It can be only felt and understood in dreams, either in dreams or by intuition. Like that, you can understand and feel it. You cannot just have them in the physical body, along with their physical body. You can be connected with them only spiritually.
Yes, yeah. It's like in your dream or something like that.
Or by some personification. I have told you, in a form of a person with white. You cannot just see them clearly. It is virtual only.
Like vision.
Some blurred view.
Like a vision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, blurred vision.
So how was it? How is this all proven scientifically? How? Hello.
What means? Yes, it is scientifically proved means by understanding the wonders performed by them, which cannot be performed by ordinary human beings. They are connected with their disciples, and they help them to do some extraordinary things. By these happenings, we can understand that their gurus and mentors only helped them to do these wonders, to solve the problem, to overcome the hindrances, like that.
No, the scientifically proven, we have to have somewhere written or scientifically, I don't know, but I understand. I believe that.
Have you understood? Yes.
Yes.
I think it was Oliver Lodge.
Yes.
He said this. He said the spiritual world is true. There exists a hierarchy of cadres. After death, human soul still lives. I really came to a conclusion that it is possible to be connected with that spiritual world, which is scientifically proved fact.
Yes.
Now, this is Oliver Lodge's statement.
Yes.
Now, why he said that this scientifically proved fact, probably we had to read his book.
Yes.
But
I have quote his one or two sentences from his book. That's all.
Yes, but what I think is that we say the Baha'i faith is scientific. The religion is scientific. If there are observance of some happenings which occur many times with many spiritual people, then there must be a law that governs that happenings. Right. So that is probably what is scientifically proved fact, but I don't know. But but this is what was given by Oliver Lodge. That's what she mentioned.
Sir, I will tell you one experience from my own self. Okay, sir, can I tell?
Yes, please.
Yes. When I went to Mecca, when I went to Mecca, I just fasted for 1 day. Okay, I took fasting for 8 days. Out of 40 days, we have stayed in Mecca. Out of which 8 days we went to Medina. In Medina, I have fasted for 3 days, and in Mecca 5 days. 1 day after fasting, I started drinking water again and again. I thought, oh Allah, I have fasted for you on your behalf only. Now I am so hungry, but I am not getting anything to eat. Like that, I just thought. Then one fellow pilgrim just gave me a handful of dried fruits, which contained dates, saffroot, mundri, badam. So simply, I'm telling my own experience. Simply, I regretted myself. See, what is this? I am in his house in Kaaba, in Mecca. I am blaming Allah that He's not giving any food for me. The very moment I got the snacks.
Yes.
Just I'm telling it at this juncture. I don't know how I am spiritually connected or not, but I thought that what Allah, I have fasted for you only on behalf of you only. But I am not having even a single fruit to eat. Then I drank water and water and water. One fellow I don't know her I don't know her at all.
Yes.
Simply, she saw me drinking water again and again, and she just gave me a handful of dried fruits. Really, I was even now.
You know, yeah.
Yes.
You know, sister, I can relate one story
Yes,
similar
yes,
to
yes.
that. You know, we have a group of women who went for Hajj, and one of the women was trying to tell us the similar story. She said she was in Mecca in the Haram, and she was praying and praying, and then she felt like eating mince, you know, because her throat was getting very dry. And then she started thinking about mince. From nowhere, a gentleman arrives in white and puts some mince in her hands, in the palm of her hand. It's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable, but we got to believe because it happened.
It happens. It happens.
Anyway, yeah.
So, anyone else? Any comments or questions?
You know, this other thing I want to know is, you know, what are the sacrifices that is needed to attain higher level? You know, when you, sister Hamida Bano, when you spoke about the, you know, Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir Jilani, and he attained the highest level. Yeah, Jilani. When he attained the highest level, what were his practices like? You know, what sort of sacrifices
you're
was
asking,
he doing?
You're asking the age at which he attained the highest level?
Oh no, what did he do to attain?
Yeah.
What are all the sacrifices?
What did he do to attain that level?
To attain that level. Yes,
yeah,
I have told
he
you.
did.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have told you, no, he started his journey from at the age of 18 from Jilan to Baghdad, isn't it? Then Baghdad, he learned physics and then he went to forest and in a deserted area. He observed fasting for 40 days, isn't it? After I told you at the 41st day, he happened to see some food and he didn't eat. He just controlled his nafs desire that you should not touch this food. You know, then he never touched the food. Then he heard one voice: to live, you have to have some food. Then only you can spread Islam. Then only you can preach your learning about Allah or about the religious path or the right path. So like that, these are the one or two incidents. So he sacrificed so many things. Not only hunger, not only thirst, not only what is it? The worldly pleasures. He indulged himself in he went inside instead of looking before and behind and around aside. He went inside. He extended his inner journey to the core, that he attained that level of divinity. He sacrificed. That is, we have. Thank you. We are reading from books. We are reading we are hearing from others, isn't it? So he have apart from this, he made so many sacrifices from worldly religion. I have told you, how to control nafs. What are all the important traits of a scholar, the spiritual leader? So these are one or two enlisted from my reading. There are so many sacrifices apart from this made by Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir. Not only Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir, such leaders, spiritual leaders, so they attained that much caliber.
Yes, I think there are many things that he followed his mother's from the very beginning. The mother's advice not to tell lies. You know, so from the very early stages, he was brought up in that way, and he practiced whatever he learned.
Yes,
and that is the challenge that we all face. But definitely. I think he practiced whatever he learned, and I think that is the key to the spiritual realization. So it's all. We can only experience ourselves. It's very difficult.
Yes. It can be felt only. That cannot be inexplicable. I told you, no. Yeah. They cannot be explained. It can be felt and understood by every individual.
Yeah, as Obida Baha'u'llah has written a book called Seven Valleys. In that book, he describes the states that man has to go through to become more spiritual, like the valley of sage, the valley of love, and so on. There's many ways of knowledge. So he describes these states that one has to go through in order to attain that spiritual.
Charger.
Yes.
I think for unity of faith, we have to stress on the concepts of spirituality rather than miracles.
Yes.
I think we had talked about it. We don't want to go on that. I think one of the slides he showed, Veda, you are states of spiritual leader.
Yes, states of a spiritual leader.
Obedience to Sharia, attaining Maghriba, that is deep about God, leave everything to Allah, discriminate between lie and truth,
extra prayer and dhikr,
attaining
the status of destroying
self,
one's own self, repentance, charity, spend everything in religious path and spiritually become rich.
Yeah, so probably these other stages probably that he went through. In my opinion, we are trying to understand these things in an intellectual way, but we have to do this in our own life, try to practice whatever the religion we are following, whatever the teachings given by God. If we follow to the true meaning of that teachings.
Sir, even in the next slide, you see, sir, how to control mind. I have given, self-realization, control your desires, be patient, avoid unnecessary talks, trust and ask Allah alone, God alone. Don't have worldly desire, keep your inner self clean. Don't be proud, be contented, avoid haram, that is the
evil things, good.
The money those you earned by bad deeds, and self-preaching. You can preach yourself, self-motivation, similar to self-motivation only.
Yes. Well, these are the
I think
of man that would raise the spirit of man and raise us to an uplifted state. Definitely.
Yes. Okay.
So your presentation was very well, explained, and I think you can share the slides with all of us.
Yes, I can.
Yes, ma'am.
I can share it. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I can share the slide with all. And is there any other? If we don't have any other questions or comments, Lorraine, Pina, Robert.
No, it was an interesting presentation. Thank you, Silva.
Okay.
But I'm realizing it's very close to 9 o'clock.
The time's running fast.
Yes, and
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for.
Okay.
Thank you for.
Yeah.
I think, Lauren, you had to give us presentation one day.
Yes.
Oh, well, think about it.
Okay. Is there any other comments?
Crafting. No, I think we have done quite a bit.
Yes, since we're talking about the soul, I just want to share what from the Baha'i scriptures. It says that thou hast asked me concerning the nature of the soul. Know verily that the soul is a sign of God, a heavenly gem, whose reality the most learned of men had failed to grasp, and whose mystery, this is the one, and whose mystery no mind, however acute, can ever hope to unravel. It is the first among all created things to declare the excellence of its creator, the first to recognize his glory and cleave to his truth, and to bow down in adoration before him. If it be faithful to God, it will reflect its light and will eventually return unto him. If it fail, however, in its allegiance to its creator, it will become a victim to self and passion and will, in the end, sink in their depths. So it is our own doings, our own self-punishment.
Yes.
If we fail. Thank you.
And regarding the prayers and answering, Dr. Hamida Bano mentioned, God always listens to us and he knows what we need. And we read this today. O thou who art turning thy face towards God, close thine eyes to all things else and open them to the realm of all glorious. Ask whatsoever thou wishest of him alone. Seek whatsoever thou seekest from him alone. With a look he granteth 100,000 hopes. With a glance he healeth 100,000 incurable ills. With a nod he layeth balm on every wound. With a glimpse he freeth the hearts from the shackles of grief. So when she was in Medina, she was drinking water and she was, it was like a prayer to God. And then someone hands in a handful of dry fruits. So these, the prayers God answers when it is absolutely necessary, he will answer.
I think, prayer get answered when it's from the real good intentions.
Yes, I think
yes,
we lost our guest, Hamida Bano.
Okay.
Maybe her internet is not good. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, Subeda, for in the last minute.
No worries. I didn't do much anyway. You did most of it. But anyway, listen, your reception was not very good. Like, there was a lot of interference.
All right. Okay. And maybe next time.
Anyway.
Next time you can come and do the MC again. And thank you, Tenmali, for introducing.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyway, thank you,
Thank you,
all.
Lorraine.
Thank you so much. Okay.